Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be in the world, or when you watch this. Oh, so yesterday I got distracted. I was going to record something, but it didn't happen. I was modifying ships. I don't know if anybody be interested in somebody wandering around the engineers and upgrading everything. Sure sucks up a lot of time doing that. It's kind of surprising sometimes, but upgraded my heavy lift Panther and upgraded my mission ship, the Cobra Mark 5 that I have. I touched up my exploration ship as well a little bit. I ran out of time. Actually, I ran out of engineer materials, so I had to quit. Came back to the system. Systems, I guess. The two systems I currently have claimed. We started a demo of the one of the outposts that I had. Let's go to here. Still haven't seen my Coriolis show up yet, but I still hope that it's going to happen. So, where is it? Yeah, this one right here. It's in the middle of demo. It's going to be done in 4 days and 14 hours. So we're going to demo this and replace it with a tier 3 surface. The irony of this whole thing, even though my Coriolis hasn't shown up and we still see signs of it through various means, it's just not here, right? This planet here has 2 orbits and 2 surfaces, and it doesn't show up. But I've demonstrated that I can still see it in the system, so to speak, by 2 methods. I found that in the server tick, the Thursday server tick, the Raven Colonial website, this message. Let's get out of here. Probably could have got there from here, but the should be. See, Thursday was the. Sorry, I still completely not awake. So it was the 1st exactly. So we look here. And I think, is this it? No. There we go. So you can see from this message here, the score of 46. I still have 0% happiness. I'm working on that. But from this message that we get, I'm pulling a 46 on my primary system, which is the 24354. Raven site matches that with the Coriolis being there. So there's that sign. And then I think I finally found, not that one, this one. I think when I'm in the system here, you can. Oh, I've always forgotten how to trigger this. No, I think it's this level. You can look at the market information. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I got the wrong one targeted. Hold on. That's why. So if you go in here, you can see this is a surface. This is the one we're actually demoing. Okay, this is interesting. But this is the Coriolis. Information unavailable as commodity is not produced or consumed at this market. Oh, I think it's giving me market information from where I am to. At any rate, but it's showing up. So, yeah. And this is my small orbital on the same planet. I don't know what this might be my surface. This is my primary orbit. That when I founded the system, we didn't do a Coriolis. We did just a tier 1. But the fact that it's still showing up in that system, I mean, it gives me hope at some point. Maybe they will actually cause that starport to show up. It'd be nice. But until then, we've been using my Douglas one, which is in the new system. The Douglas Coriolis that we have there is primary method of getting materials. So all our colonization's coming out of there. But blah, blah, blah. So just as an update, I will work on this after doing some exobiology. I want to go out and make a little bit of money. I've been funding the construction of the different bases and everything. Sorry, I'm a little slow today. But right now we are working on, where's it at? It's a surface. I think is it this one? Yeah, right here. We're working on this military base, and this is the second system. This is the newer system that we picked up, and we're gathering materials for this to build this out. And of course, in the other system, we're waiting for the demo to finish so that we can start in on the large surface port. So we'll be raising our score higher and hopefully get more materials. So anyway, I plotted a course, just random. Got my my exploration ship here. Just a Caspian. I got I don't think I put anything in utility. I probably should. I probably should put some shield boosters in here or something. But I stripped this down pretty hard. You know, it's unladen is 83 and it's normal is like 74. So it's not too bad. And then I put a landing in there, or a planetary vehicle hangar with a couple RVs. So let's head out. I kind of like this. Yesterday also I was goofing around with my mission ship. I did a couple of missions. I'm trying to raise the happiness in the systems. I don't know if I'm succeeding. But I am at least raising my influence with the different groups. I'm hoping that will do that. Also, I noticed my previous recording, the Vista counter for the exobiology equipment. Apparently, it plays. I could barely hear it. It plays just a little bit of music, and I actually got copyright striked on that. So I've turned off all music out of this game. You know, heck with it. Thought that was funny though. I was able to edit it out. Just mute the volume. I mean, I could have separated it or tried to, but I just muted it. It was only like 10 seconds tops. Really ridiculous. So what I'm doing here is I'm just jumping out 500 light years ish, maybe more, and then I'm going to just do a as opposed to a fast jump plotting, I'll just do efficient and look for places. Yeah, 593 light years, if you believe the calculation on the top. And if that doesn't work, I'll just keep going out. I think there's been times I had to go out like 3,000 light years to find something. I like to find stuff with Exobiology and first footfall so I can get the bonus. Still haven't pulled out my joystick and hooked it up to this yet. I don't know. Might later do some more missions, or attempt to do more missions. I've been doing mostly salvage missions, but I need to branch out. And I was watching a few people play and do the settlement raids. That looks interesting. Kind of got a feel of Hitman to it in a way. Thought that was pretty funny. I always turn because I don't want to go past the sun without seeing where I'm at. Ironically, you know, I rigged this ship out to go just about anywhere. I guess I pretty much just go anywhere. I mean, I've been out literally 3,000, 3,500 light years out. I don't remember the exact number. Just kind of wandering around. I should take it to Colonial, just cause. But I like coming back to my system and working on it, you know, so. I don't mind, you know, taking a few hours or something and going way out and then coming back. Helps a lot to be able to jump, you know, as far as this jumps. Kind of like this ship more than my Mandalay for, only because you can do pretty much kind of a comfort exploration, you know what I mean? I mean, it is painful sometimes to land on some of the planets, but most of the time it's not. You know, you don't have, when you get into the big rocky ones and stuff, sometimes it's hard to find a landing spot. And I don't know if the Mandalay would necessarily be better in that regard. I mean, it might be because just, you know, not as big. It's a medium ship, so. But some of the rockiness was pretty hefty when I couldn't land. I had to go looking for an open patch. I think I would have had to do the same thing in a lot of cases. Oops. Knocked my microphone almost off the stand. Where are we at? 3 jumps left. Let's take a quick peek. I see that this is not complete scan down. So let's see what's happening. Some behind the sun there. Curious to know what the new operations or the operations changes that they're going to do are going to be like. Just move forward a little bit here and see if we can get those last bits. Nope, nothing to be had here. Oh well. Couple more systems and then we'll do a replot and knock down the jump size. See if we can find something fun. Actually, look at my heat. Maybe I should switch this over to fast boot. No, I guess mass manager is better. Let's see if that's worthwhile here. Probably gas giant. Yep, gas giant. Bunch of orbitals here. Wow, there's all kinds of stuff out here. Oops, still more. Okay, that completes that. Let's try this one. Gas giant again. Yep. Okay. Ooh, icy body. You kind of get a feel for what's going to be there. Kind of fun. Especially when there's like these kind of systems where there's like 38. Gas giant. Maybe. Nope. Nope, right here. Another gas giant. Nope. Lock in. Yep. Then you look around for bodies once you get there. Ooh, icy. Sorry, I'm not even pausing. I just see the first title and sit back out. Once you get like this, you know, you burn through these things pretty quick. According to the, so I use, as an add-on, you use, what is it, Server Survey, I think is technically what it stands for. I guess giant. Let's look around for bodies. There we go. That's all that's there. So it puts these overlays on that don't show up on OBS. I think there's a way to make them show, but I don't really care. But it does a nice little tally in the left-hand corner to help you figure out if it's worthwhile to go to any of these other bodies. Now, I found it mostly correct. Occasionally, I found a few mistakes. So sometimes it's actually worthwhile to go ahead and check the planet to be sure. Go down to the scan of the... So this is technically F... What? What am I using? It's technically... Yeah, FSS. And so then you do the DSS for the planet. Detail surface scan, and this is... I forget. But sometimes it's worthwhile to go down and look at them. So there was 2 in here, but they're not... They're registering as probably just bacteria. 2 biologics. It's interesting. So why is it only showing up as 1 million each? Oh, bacteria and font. Huh. And then this one. Same. But, you know, theoretically not worth as much to actually do a mil for a mil-ish for the bacteria. And Fonticulus or whatever it is, also showing up as a mil. So technically really not worth your time in a way. I mean, they need it. Whoops. They need to bump up what you get for that. Because, you know, I'm all about time, money kind of thing, you know, optimizing, so to speak. And if it doesn't look like it's worthwhile to go through all the, you know, drill down, and I skip it. I know. You still get a benefit because, you know, if you scan the point, you get the, what do you call it, the lore or whatever it's called, the codex. But yeah, well. According to server survey, this is an undiscovered system. Now, I've not found that is highly accurate, but it's always exciting. Ooh, 19 bodies. Let's see what we got. Metal content. Icy body. Anything worthwhile in here? Oh, it still says something's in here. Sometimes my keys are a little too sensitive. I end up going back and forth a little bit. Oh, 19, getting closer. So far, nothing registering as worthwhile yet. Right. Ooh. Yeah. Let's pull forward. The stars obscuring my detection. You find most of your planets on an orbit line, but sometimes you have to really dig. There it is. Oop. Oop, biosig. Bacterium, I guess it'll be one biologic. Usually, let's take a look. Yeah, right here. Oh, nothing. I could have sworn it said that somewhere. There it is. No footfall. Well, biologic, my guess is going to be it's just a bacteria. Excuse me. So, in my mind, not very worthwhile. Because, you know, you have to go down to the planet, scan it. Then you have to go on the surface, find it. Time-wise, it's not really worth the risk, in my mind. Another undiscovered. Oops. Alright, so now we get to replot. Yeah, undiscovered and only one body in it. Alright, let's see what we got then. I just randomly chose this. Let's go down. Let's see, let's pick something over here. No, let's go further. There we go, 200. We'll plot this, but let's change our routing settings and have it recalculate. So now it'll be lower jump values. 23 jumps for that short of a distance. And then we can just try different systems and hopefully, kind of like fishing, hopefully we'll get lucky. So this one's only 9 light years away. Oops, I need to throttle up. It says it's undiscovered, but as we've seen before, that doesn't mean a whole lot. So usually I'll go, and if I get a couple good bites, then I'll head home and continue doing something else. I don't try to burn myself out too hard on some things. Oh, this might be a good one to scan. There's 31 bodies in here. Let's check it out. Maybe we'll get lucky off the bat. Well, that's not a good start. So it's gas giant? Yep. Like a gas giant. Alright, let's look for some orbitals here. Anything else in this area? Yep, over here. Ooh, 2 biologic signals. Another giant. Interesting. Nothing major yet, at least from the detection standpoint, but there's a couple systems here. Just was missing it. Yeah, I think yeah, after I'm done here, I think I mentioned it earlier, but might help out with moving some of the material to the military base. 24 of 31. Maybe attempt a couple of missions. It's really cold here, so it's like, I don't know. I swear the walls are cooling off the indoors quite a bit. It just feels like it. And then the heat dries out the air and... Oh, another. Anything in the air? Nope. Yeah, there is. My sweep wasn't very good. It is. Okay, one more. Where are you hiding? Oh, there you are. Another gas giant. Wow, that's a surprise. Alright, so. Man, all we got is one, in my mind, one possible. The other two, let's just take a look. So A4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A4. These must be geologic. One biology. So this... Oh, I didn't see an atmosphere. This has got to be a bacteria. Let's look at A9. It's the other one that showed up. A9A. This must be 9. No, it's 6. 9. Oh, sorry. A9B. 2 biologics. But it already had a first footfall, so... And I'm assuming these were worthwhile. This one probably wasn't. Yeah, it's going to be bacteria. Somebody else has been here. So, not worthwhile. Oh well, huh? Onward. I mean, you still get the scan, what do you call it? The cartography data or whatever it's called. You still get that, but according to server survey, there's only 2 bodies in this next system. Two bodies. Probably a star and 2 stars. So that's a skip. Next one, 17 bodies. I've been debating whether I want to add another system to our list of claimed systems. I haven't really decided. I think looking around at the neighborhood, though, there's really nothing that exciting in the area. This might have something. Let's take a look. Might have been first footfall, though. The fact that it has data kind of spoils it, if you will. It spoils the idea that it might already have been done. Might be behind the star. Nope, not behind the star. Surprising. Thought I saw some over. Yep. 5 more. Looks like they might be right here. One last one. We'll try over here. Yep. All right. What do we got? Bet you it's got first foot already. So this one, B4. Yep, first foot right there. Add 1 biologic. Oh, moving on. I'll take the cartographic monies, but it's got to be a lot for me to go on the surface commit. I mean, even my pattern, I've gotten burned before, where I got down there and couldn't find the. You know, you'd spend a half hour just trying to chase down one. Even if you do follow the blue on the way in, you don't find it, you know? Then it becomes, how stubborn are you? Trying to find it. $15. No data, though. I'm gonna see if I can get away from the star a little bit here. I don't mind scanning it down, you know, because it goes pretty quick. I probably need to do a better survey in my neighborhood, seeing if there's any good systems to snag wax. Still can. I think we got a. I don't remember if we have a 4-week lockout or only a 1 week. It might be just a 1 week. When you claim a system, its neighbors are locked out for a period of time to prevent scalping, I guess is the. Oh, okay. Well, me. Not seeing these guys, so let's see if we can't find them this way. Turn this off. Lock on that. Turn. There it is. So it's right here. Oh, I bet you they're all in this area then. Hockey body. Okay, that takes care of that. There's no data popping, so I'm going to guess it's pretty. Yep, pretty boring. One with atmosphere but not landable, and then all these landables, right? Oh. Oh well. 3, probably 2 stars on a planet. 3 stars. AKA next system. We'll let that turn off. There we go. 14 bodies in the next system, supposedly. I've done this before where I had to do multiple, like 200 light year strings of finding nothing and then finding something at the end. It was right. Let's get away from the star. Anything fun? Ooh, we get to scan them all down. Looks like we need to pull away from the star some more. Yeah. Oh, it picked it up. Or left. And there we go. Nothing good, nothing good. Pretty boring. All right, next system. Ten bodies. One thing I did wonder, I always think back what I did while we were building our first system as to why, what was that? One? Did I see one body? No. 4, 3, okay. When we were building the first system, I did rename the Coriolis while it was still, it hasn't been, you know, the, whatchamacallit, the building scaffolding was still in system. I wonder if that screwed something up. It could have. It's just weird that I can't see it, and yet it's participating in the all the economics of everything. You know what I mean? Like the score and the market data and everything. All right, let's lock into this. metal. Nothing here. Moving on. I once went to turn in my cartography data, and I had like 3 or 4 pages of stuff. And when you turn it in, it only does the page. It doesn't do the whole thing, so you have to sit there and wait. It's kind of funny. I think the most I've made in one mission was 750 million. But I was out long ways, and I was out there for a long time. I spent a few hours. Remember when I first was playing, I used to mine a lot. That's how I got my money for my carrier and everything. A lot of laser mining back then. I never, back then I didn't get good at the core mining or the fisher mining, or whatever you call it, the surface mining, I guess that technically. Never got good at that. Ooh, behind the star again. But the grind, I mean, you know, the laser mining was just too easy. It just sucked up a lot of time, and then the danger of trying to take the loads back to a selling point. But now with the carrier, you drop the carrier. Well, I had to drop the carrier nearby. I couldn't drop it in system because there would be so many people. Because, you know, I was doing like everybody else. Let's get the star out of the way. I would drop in, and I would go to the same place that everybody else is going, right? You know, the double or the triple spots if you could find them. And then, so then the only danger was trying to get back to the carrier. Oh, I didn't go far enough. I think I lost a couple loads because of IRITs. Just because most of the time you know, after mining for a really long time, you kind of get sleepy. And so I wasn't really paying attention. And I got zapped because I was slow to respond properly. But I got better at that. All right. We got some possibles here. Let's see if they're first footfall. Nope, they're already first footfall. So I bet you this is just one, and that's why he didn't do it there. That's none. It's none. Huh. Okay. There's one there, and already first foot. First foot. So it's not even worth doing. But now, so, you know, I try to do that with platinum, because we have a couple of good platinum spots in our system. Man, the one metal I didn't get out of it was platinum. You know, even though they were a quote-unquote hotspot, I tried everything. I tried surface, I tried core, I tried the well, not laser mining, the Gatling gun thing, same thing or similar thing. You're mining the same stuff, but I never found any platinum. It was so weird to be in a quote-unquote hotspot for platinum to see no platinum. I think one of them was even a triple spot, you know, an overlap of 3. I don't know what the deal with that is. But there's a nearby system. One of the systems we used for building out our first base It's got a spot for tritium, and I do really good there. Doesn't take long to fill up the carrier, so I mean it works out. Refuel the carrier every so often. Just hop over into that system and go mining for half hour, 40 minutes, and boom, carrier's full. Crazy. We're up to 17. God, there's a lot of bodies in this system. Gas giant. Let's look for orbitals. I actually like mining, even though, I mean, it's not exactly exciting, but I mean, it's fun to watch. I watch movies or watch something while I'm doing it. And so it's just kind of relaxing, so to speak, you know. Actually, last time I was pretty in mining, I got attacked. I guess it's not the exact safest area. Normally the pirates come and, you know, look at your cargo and go, oh, you're empty, blah, 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 my children, blah, whatever. But this time I was in the system for a while, and then they showed up, and they were shooting at me. Got me down hull-wise a little bit. So I need to engineer up that for safety. Where is this? Seems like there's one in here, but maybe not. Okay, maybe not. The star's blocking. Yeah, so once I get my engineering materials up to snuff again, I'll make another run and go in and engineer up that. I mostly engineered up my my heavy lifter since I was using that a lot to move materials. And I've gotten that in trouble a few times. I almost lost that because of a pirate. But now I've engineered that up pretty hefty. It's faster. It's got heavier shields and everything. It even jumps further now. Before it would only like 7 light years or whatever. Okay, let's move out a little bit further. I guess we need to go a lot further. We were still pulling our refueling from the star. That should do it. But yeah, it's a Type 11 that I'm using to mine, and I literally, I don't think I did anything to it. I just put on what I wanted and took off what I didn't, and so it, you know, I'm being lazy with that. 37, there we go. Okay. Pretty low values though, for according to server survey. 8C, so this is 8C. It says 2. No first foot. It's really not, I mean, it's probably, yeah, it's really not worthwhile. Oh well, cartography data. I must just not be good at figuring out what rock to punch for platinum and other things. I mean, I do have the wave scanner, or whatever you call it. That seems, I mean, you get the glowing rocks, but you don't see why they're glowing. You know, they're like fake. 2, probably 2 stars. But core mining is neat from the whole, you explode the asteroid, if you will. That's kind of cool, but I don't know if it's really worthwhile amount of effort you got to put into it, and not only scanning it down, but also, so it's like it's one of those cases of random on random, right? You randomly have to find the glowy rock. The glowy rock has to have a core. Then the random is which core it has. It just, I don't know. I almost feel like the glow, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Just feels disappointing sometimes. You could spend, I've actually gone in and come out with, almost nothing. After like, an hour of work. Maybe that's part of the randomness, I guess. But as you can see, any kind of, if I spend time, I guess I spend too much time worrying about ROI. Can't help it, I'm an investor. I invest in stocks and stuff, and it's my mentality. I guess that's why I play economic games too. Ooh, got a couple possibles. I've been looking at other games, as I always do. I was looking at Starfield, although Starfield has a horrible release, horrible past, and all that kind of stuff. But I've seen two things that were interesting. I saw a mod produced by somebody that looked rather interesting. Actually, two mods. One was a Star Wars mod, which, Star Wars. And there was another mod. I can't remember the details of it at the moment. I just remember it existing. Oh, that's all of them. Oh. Okay. Moving in. And then also they have new expansions coming out for it. And I'm always interested in space games. I've liked Elite. Well, I've liked most of Elite and how it does stuff. There's quite a few areas they could do something about that they've never have. And I don't know what budget they're operating in, and it is an older game, and it's an older engine, and I don't know what their capabilities are. But it does seem to me that from a game mechanic standpoint, there's a lot of stuff that they could do to improve. Now, I'm not looking for, a No Man's Sky kind of level of improvement or anything like that. But there's just a few things. I really like to see, a player-based economy. And I know that's dangerous because I didn't pay attention to how many. Take a look. Oh, sorry. I get to talking and I forget what I'm doing. 7. Okay. And I know a player-based economy is dangerous, but I would love to see something kind of, if you can base it into a little bit of reality. Like, it's hard to explain what I mean. One game that I and several of my friends talk about is the old, I think is it Privateer or... I don't know, there's an old space game that had a lot better economy. You know, one of the ways to make money in that game was arbitrage, where you find a good place where if something sells for low, and you could find where it sells high and then do it. Now, I know you can do that in this game, but a lot of the marketing data has to come from external tools, and it's kind of weird. Even though they have some functionality in here to give you data like that, the times I've used it, it was worthless. Okay, do we got anything? Nothing. All right, moving on. Freelancer. It wasn't privateer, it was freelancer. Sorry. But, so back to the player-based economy. So one of the exciting things, one of the reason I came back was the colonization stuff they were putting in. And the reason I find that interesting is that they're building something that has kind of a method to the madness, right? Like if you build bases on the surface, you know, like an extraction kind of stuff, it feeds the other businesses. You get these weak link, strong link combinations and stuff like that. So if you take that kind of concept and people can build bases, and if you start turning the entire galaxy over to people building bases, and that's how starships get produced and stuff, you can start generating an economy that's based off of that would auto adjust according to demand and supply, maybe. And then again, you know, gaming mechanics sometimes gets blown out because, you know, somebody had a few weeks to do nothing more than exploit one little thing and blows out the economy, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. But from an idealistic standpoint, you could see where something like that would be really kind of cool. I actually was thinking that with people being able to run their own stations and such, you could potentially take the stations that are in the bubble, and those stations could slowly be turned over to people to have them actually run, which would add personal touches to it all, which is kind of cool. Then again, you know, you always have your chaos factor, if you will, that people could cause entire chaos. I mean, you would obviously have to have some NPC stations just because of the missions and stuff like that. So and you know, this all speaks to, you know, I don't know what kind of team size FDev has and what their infrastructure is from a data network, and you know, some of this might be outside the wheelhouse just because it just doesn't have the infrastructure to run that. But you know, it's neat to dream. But end round, this just takes me back to, you know, Starfield. While by and large it seems like through all the reviews I've read, the game is terrible. Has a lot of issues. Some still haven't been resolved, according to some of the reviews I was reading. I did see they have spaceships, which is they build a spaceship workshop, which is very similar to how No Man's Sky's spaceship workshop works. You know, the Corvette, which I thought was interesting. But it Starfield is more, not really modern, I don't want to say that, more of a sides on the realistic looking more so than No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky's got kind of not really cartoonish, but kinda, I don't know how best to say it. I mean, there's always Star Citizen, which I don't know, we're up to 10 years or so, and I don't know. Somebody, I don't know if they could ever live up to any of its potential, if you will. It just, it might have been just too much, you know what I mean? 1628. Whoa. I'm not sure what the rotation's coming from. When you're in that close, I'm not moving, so I don't know why. Maybe things are rotating. I don't know. It looked like it was moving away from me. It was really weird. We still have 8 more. Okay, let's see where they're at. Oop, I didn't lock. And the star? That's what it looks like, yep. Okay, fine. I've also played Eve. Eve has a very interesting economy, how that all operates. My biggest negative on Eve was the I don't know, required is a strong word, but the gank squads were really rough for me. Where you could just, you know, be rolled up on. I tried to do an exploration. I got blown up trying to do that. I did the economic route. I was doing pretty good with that. I didn't really get. I got jumped a few times trying to deliver stuff to a station. I mean, I made it out just because I had studied up on how to come off of a station or the jump gate and get away quickly. But I don't know, and I don't know how you could design a system or a game, if you will, without some possibilities of that. Because I get it, it's part of the, it's just kind of part of, if you will, the natural kingdom of things. I don't know. I on that note, you know, if you do have that natural kingdom, I think the parts that, so one of the two things either seem to always be missing when people start looking at that kind of thing. Either the negative side of adopting a pirate type mentality in a game, the negative side of that isn't implemented well. And in other words, what I'm saying is that people that go ahead and adopt that do not have what would be a normal negative inside of a society for that. You know, having be constantly on the run type of thing. They don't have that in those kind of games. They are, by and large, unaffected, and so then they just kind of run rampant against people that don't adopt that strategy or that type of gameplay. Or you have the other side, where the good side is basically unbothered completely by and there's no benefit for people adopting the pirate lifestyle. There's no upside. So yeah, you have both. Man, I'm batting 1,000 today, aren't I? Nothing here either. Well, not nothing, but not worthwhile. So, yeah, I don't know how to feel about all that. I guess most of the time I feel like I don't care about the pirate lifestyle because I don't seem to adopt that very often. You know, I think when I was playing this game earlier on, I did, yeah, I did. I pirated against a couple of NPCs just to see what it was all about. But I didn't keep it up. I'd rather bounty hunt. You know, speaking of bounty hunter too, Star Wars Galaxies was a game that I played some time ago. Is it 4 bodies? Yeah, it's not even stopping. Star Wars Galaxies had an interesting combination. First of all, Jedi was extremely rare and hard to get, right? Initially, they blew that out later on, and was like anybody could do it theoretically. But the Jedi had all these bounty hunters that were playing, and it was real. They could track down these Jedi. If they were using their power, the bounty hunters could use triangulation and track down a Jedi. And there was and they could get bounties on the terminals for these Jedi. So, like, an example of some Jedi was on some planet and they were using their ability to level up or whatever, a mission on the terminal would pop up and the bounty hunters could chase them down. And it was deadly for the Jedi. In other words, what happened is if you did get caught by the bounty hunter, aka killed, you lost all your levels. You had to start over. You could go back and be in a Jedi again, but you would be level 1. So it was, I mean, it was pretty harsh. But if you had something, I don't know if you want it that harsh or not. You know, once again, you spin this around and try to, it is still a game, and you don't want people to be frustrated and give up or whatever, but it was an interesting mechanic is essentially what I was getting at. I think the only negative initially on the Star Wars, well, not only, a big negative on the becoming a Jedi was it was very unknown how to become a Jedi in the initial. Somebody figured it out, or, you know, followed the lore and found it or whatever. And it was a little weird how you went down the path too. You had to do all the professions and find a mix of professions in order to trigger it or get the calling or whatever, you know. It was kind of strange. I tried to do it and I didn't get very far. I think the way at the time I knew is that you had to try all the professions in order to trigger it, and so I was just going through all the professions, grinding through them. But that just caused burnout is all that did. Wow, nothing here. Well, that was fun. Where are we at? Still got 6 more jumps. I think I'm just gonna go to the end of the 6 jumps, and then I'm just gonna head back and we'll do something more fun. But yeah. I do believe, though, the games should provide, you know, like if you have to do a lot to do something, there should be a benefit. You know, there's a reward. There should be a reward system. We all work off of reward systems, and it should be a reward for it. So back to the whole thing. If you're gonna pirate, press the wrong button. If you're gonna pirate, there should be extreme extreme downsides, but the benefit should be there too. Anyway, blah blah blah. I get on these tangents and just keep going. This game, bringing it all back to here. The fixes for the Odyssey stuff on foot also was an enticer. You know, the colonization was one, and then the fact that you could raid bases in here was giving me a feeling of what I'm kind of talking about, right? So far I haven't really seen anything. But I've only done salvage missions, so I need to relearn the. I know when you So I just picked up Odyssey a couple months ago, whatever it was, and they force you to do that tutorial. And I gotta learn those things again. I've forgotten what each thing does. I know one you can copy personality profiles, and the other one you can zap people with or whatever, and the different tools. On the salvage, I was using the cutter, which I thought was really kind of a cool. You know, you had to open up the container, I think, with the cutter. That was kind of neat, and you found stuff at the location. And then you can get dropped on where they can send more soldiers in. You know, too bad. The first few times I did that, I got blown away. Well, for one, I forgot that you have to turn your shield on. That didn't work so well without shields. Once we got here, we got 3 biologics on one planet, but they're not really. What is it? It's B1. That doesn't have. No, it's not B1. That's AB1. Oh yeah, I forgot about these splits. Is this B1? Yeah. So it's 3 geologics and 1 biologic. Boo. It's bacteria. So yeah, I landed on the planet to start the mission, and I started firing and dodging and all that kind of stuff, and then I just got shot. And I was down. I'm like, oh, shields, right. So I know that now, but I gotta get better at the weaponry and all that. It doesn't quite play like an FPS, right? It doesn't like play like Battlefield or anything like that. It's a little clunky, at least in my mind, it's a little clunky. Nowhere near on its release, obviously. But I do really like disembarking from the ship, though, and hopping around and walking around in the station. I like that a lot. I like the fact that we can walk around in our carrier now. That's really cool. Holy crap, 24 bodies in this place, but the predictor is saying worthless system. Well, we'll scan it in, see what we get. I know people have been asking to be able to walk around in your cockpit forever in this game. I don't know if they got the technology to do it, or that. I should say, I don't know that the engine can handle or support the technology that would be required to do it. But I could be wrong. I imagine Odyssey was just initially just one of the developers says, hey, you know, we could try to do this with this way. And then it was a prototype. And then next thing you know, it was. Well, I think the story goes that it was a stockholder. Dog and pony show and then became a product, and then released way too early. I mean, it's usable now. The bases are kind of neat. We'll see if I still say that when I start doing some of the missions. And the star, yep. Oh. It was weird. It looked like it was there for a second. It's still behind the star. Oh, we'll get this one. One last one behind the star. Okay. Go off access here. Boom. Man. Yep. Pretty worthless here. What we got? We got 4 left. We'll just head home after this, or after the 4. We'll go full speed. Two stars. One of the things I have yet to do, I need to get some corrosive protected cargo. I think the main reason, well, not the main, one of the reasons I picked this ship is that because it's a large ship, I can actually equip it with a cargo, and I'll put some limpets on it and still have a fairly high jump, and I'll go over to Seoul and get the materials for crafting up the or unlocking, I should say, the cargo. Oh, the corrosive cargo. Still gotta do that yet. On my to-dos. I did unlock 2 engineers yesterday. One that allows me to engineer up my power plant all the way, and I haven't gone to the other one, but I think it does. I forgot what she does. I didn't unlock. I've been introduced to the other one, so funny, this whole time I haven't had those 2 engineers. The yawns for some reason. Nothing here. Well, that's a bummer. Next time I'll have to just plan to go further out. We got 2 more. Get away from the star here. Scan this one down. It's funny, I was looking at upgrading weapons and suits. And like I mentioned, I've done a couple of, well, more than a couple, salvage missions. You know, and I pick up all this material, like, wow, we're getting all kinds of material. And I get into and look at, for upgrading, it's like, I can't even upgrade anything. You know, I have one on each item I look at to upgrade. I only have like one. One item. You know, it needs like 5 or 6 or whatever. Okay, this is gonna be a while. And nothing in the system either. Okay, last one. Make it count. Hey, just in time. Some more people selling views. Too bad they got blocked. I wonder how much money that company makes. 2. Okay, well, we're on our way home now. Let's plot the course. Change the calculator. Recalculate. 11 jumps. Not bad, huh? Yeah, I always, if you haven't picked up yet, and I kind of mentioned it, I kind of default to the business side of things a lot. But yeah, I wonder how much money they make. Because I read how they actually work. So the viewbotting thing, they have all these older cell phones, and they strip them down to a board, and then they have like a multi-viewer that they use to control all the phones. And it's all rigged out, all software controlled, you know, so it's essentially like having a bunch of cards in a PC, except they're a bunch of phones. So it provides power and a bus for them to communicate. I didn't see how many bodies were here. Let me slow down. But that's how their business works. So they just have racks and racks of these things. kind of like a Bitcoin mining operation or something. And so then they charge, and all they got to do is point themselves at Twitch or whoever, and I'm sure their software, so that they don't get caught up in the whole idle thing, I'm sure the software excuse me, does something to keep them from doing that. And I wouldn't doubt, you know, with this day with AI and such, because, you know, I don't know if you've seen me on here before, but I wrote my own Twitch bot, and the Twitch bot was just there to communicate. That was all its own purpose. But you could easily take that AI and, you know, make it interact somewhat to avoid any kind of detection. I'm not saying it wouldn't take much, but, you know, once you get it, just replicate it. Wow, 53 bodies in the system. But I really wonder how many people are, you know, and they must be making money because they're going around advertising, so they got some people biting. But let's just run this through from a thought experiment. Like, if you bought views and you did it to just become partner, right? So you had to, you know, get a decent amount outlay there, you know, 30 days or whatever to get the views. What then? You know, I mean, I suppose depending on the content, you pay a couple months worth of, you know, X number of views, you'll get up on the dashboards, not only get your partnership or whatever they call it, associate or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what they call it, because I'm obviously not it. But I suppose if you get yourself up on the boards, get enough people, because people like to go where people are. I learned that from my father. He had an ice cream store, so. But crowds like crowds, right? So they're going to show up on number X. And once you get ahead, you don't need the views anymore. So in the places that it would work, you would only need it for X amount of time. And where it wouldn't work, you know, people are going to run out of money to dedicate for it. So I don't see it as a good business model. I mean, I see how it could benefit the streamer possibly, unless they get found out, obviously. And even that might be hard to prove. I don't know. I'm not sure what mechanisms like Twitch has put in or Kick has put in. Behind the star. The automation behind all that must be really interesting. I wonder how they avoid just getting blocked, though. Imagine what else you could do with such a system. You know, like I don't attend concerts or anything like that, but like if you take some of the concert places that are out there, I can imagine where, since you have effectively, you know, a bunch of web clients or farm, if you will, that you could do all kinds of interesting things with that as well. But once again, you had some information on where all that signal was coming from. I wonder if you couldn't just figure out, hey, this is a bot farm. and just cut them off. I guess if you had multiple ISPs, then it might not be that easy. I don't know. I get into how things work, so that's why my brain will go down these rabbit holes and start thinking about these things, and then I'll start thinking about, you know, solutions to the problem, because I like solving problems. And then I get tired and I forget about the whole thing. Or get bored. That's my biggest thing. I get bored too easy. I remember playing this game, and you know, the jump where I always worried about running right into the star, and the brightness of the star would always just about burn out my retina. I always thought that was funny. It's really wild when you're in something small like a DBX. Or a Cobra Mark 5, for instance. It seems like there's still something here. Maybe I'll come back. Some orbitals here. Maybe. Let's see if this turns out to be worthwhile. There's still 10 more to go. Bet you there's footfall already done, though. This is usually what happens to me, is it's like I'm getting close to the end of what I'm working on, you know. And it shows up and takes up another 2 hours. Oh, I found a huge system, and it had several biologics. I think I had to break that up into multiple days. One more. Oop. Right there. That's all of them. Alright, so A4, huh? A4A. A4A. No first foot. 2 biologics. It's got some money too. Let's go take a look. Wow, look at that ring. It's huge. Where are we? We're 8 jumps away. I might have to scan that ring just to see what's in it. Is it claimable? I'll wait to find out. Oh, that's slowing down. Take a look. Yeah, it's unclaimed, but I think it's too far away. Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't see anything. I have it set for... and there's nothing nearby. Why is that doing that? That's weird. Isn't it? That's weird. Why is that blinking? A little weird, isn't it? Not sure what that's all about. Almost impossible to find a system that hasn't had first discovery. I actually found one a week ago. Yeah. All right, now we get a true breakdown of Fermarola. I can't pronounce anything. We're 6 mil. And then the bacteria's, the bacteria is probably worth 1. So we'll set for this. Let's stay in the sunlight or starlight. landing it, doing this in the dark sucks, kind of. Well, yeah. It's not so bad when it's actually plants that are above the surface, but things that are really low, hard to see. I mean, you have night vision, but still, it's kind of annoying. This always freaks me out. I feel like I'm gonna run right into the ground. So I think this is the stalks, the bamboo-looking stalks. I can't recall. We'll see. It looks like it's the bush. Let's flatten out here. It's cool surface though. Now we gotta find a flat spot. Oh, there was one. A little further forward. Oops. Down. Readjust. Actually, that might be just geology right there. Let's find out. Pretty sure. Huh. It's weird, isn't it? Oh, gotta switch loadouts. Why wouldn't it let me? That's a little weird. Okay, first foot. A little weird, isn't it? Something happened to my mappings. Data link scanner. Huh. Well, that's a little weird. Wonder. There it goes. Try to get the codex going up. Oops. Wrong buttons. Or whatever, how you say that. Okay, we got one. Thought I spied another one over here. Might not be far enough, though. Yep, it is. Bonus. Looks like there's one over there, too. Some up there. Well, that was pretty easy. Normally it's not like that. Normally I'm looking quite a while. Nothing over there. Nothing there. I don't know if I want to continue or not. Let's take a poke. Poke around real quick. See if it's worthwhile doing any of the other two. Yeehaw! I've got myself in so much trouble in these things. That's why I have two of them. Alright, we'll take a peek out here. See if there's anything out here worthwhile. The amount of time it takes to switch is very disturbing. I'm really surprised that it has that still. I think there's something right there. Let's find out. Looks like a bacteria, but I don't really want to. I don't like doing the bacteria because they're so low on the ground. They're kind of hard to find sometimes. I mean, yeah, you could buzz along and use the ship to find it. Whoa! Okay, that wasn't anything. Let's just go to the top of the hill and see if there's anything worthwhile. Doesn't feel like there is. Stop! There's been times like this where I go to the top of the hill and everything I need on the other side is just like, it's just tons of it. Alright, I think we're just going to call it here. Because I'm lazy, we'll push the ship up into orbit and then bring it back down. Meanwhile, we'll drive a little bit further. And we got the one that was worth the most, in theory. Whee! Alright, one more last look. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing in the distance. Okay, fine. I'm really curious to see why that one thing was blinking. I should have looked at it right away, but... Alright, ship. Let's see... Oh, we probably can't pull up the galaxy map. Or maybe we can. No, it's not blinking anymore. See if it can land. It's coming in. Wow, look at that view. Kind of cool. Ah, it moved. Bug on you. Let's just take a look at the map and see if it's still blinking at all. That was just really weird because it was blinking down here. See that bookmark? This is a place I went once. I think it was just the game being weird. One body. I probably should just explore the neighborhood. You know, you can only claim... Wow, 23. You can only claim 15 light years from the nearest office. But, you know, I could probably map out a bunch of systems that I might be interested in outside of that. And then as the offices get closer, or do a bridge and make them get closer, to add on to the system. That might be kind of cool. Ooh. Stratum. We may have our system number 2. Irony that it's on the way back. That I'm running into them. I bet you it's got first foot, though. It's pretty close to our system, and I think our stuff was mostly been found. Anything behind the star? Yep, plenty. Alright, let's move in a little bit more. so we can see behind the star. Thought about going more toward Colonia. Colonia. Can't talk. Thought about going more toward there to look for systems, you know, have a system way over there. I'm on the opposite side. But I just felt like everybody was going that direction, you know what I mean? And I'm not much of a crowd follower. Oh. Here? Yep. Clear. A2. A2 Brute. Yeah, first foot. Never mind, I'm not gonna bother. It's not enough to be by itself. What we got left? Got 6 jumps. Alright. We'll refill here. I'll scan the system and then we'll continue. I'll bring you right back. I'm going to get some more to drink. So dry in here. Alright, let's scan this. Actually, let's get away from the star. It's so dry in here, though. There we are. And that's them. Oh, there's nothing. I was expecting at least something, but okay. Whatever. I think this isn't already. Yeah, let's look at B5 real quick. I bet you this system is, because I think I've been in the system a couple times. B, yeah. Oh, first mapped. How can this be so close to where I'm at? All right, we'll scan it down. There's one that might be worthwhile doing. It has a 4 million possible payoff. But even then, it might be kind of. I like to be like 6 or 6 plus, because then, you know, with the bonus. Back to my ROI mindset. Kind of stupid, I know, with a game, but still. Now, granted, the missions I've been doing, I have to take a different attitude because they pay diddly squat. But I'm looking at it from a faction standpoint, increasing the, in theory, at some point, increasing the happiness of the system. But I know I'm strange. What's going on here? Been thinking about reinstalling American Truck Sim because I live in Illinois, and the Illinois map is coming out. I want to kind of try it out. I did not mean to do that. E5. So B4, 5. First mapped. It's one biologic. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be the not worthwhile. Okay. But we'll take the cartographic data. 4 jumps left. Before home, sweet home. The star. That's it. That's all that's in the system. Jeez, look at all this stuff. What is all that? Just a bunch of rock. Four bodies. Just passing through. Wouldn't mind finding a system that's close with the tritium deposit. Closer than the other one I was mentioning earlier. Not to mention part of our systems, so I can control the security. 15. Have I scanned this system down? I think I probably have. Well, I mean, we're so close to home, it might be worthwhile just looking. Gas giant. That's always a good sign. Yeah, I think if I do another system, I'll do Cariolus as the first. Even though it requires so much material. Ooh, another gas giant. Requires so much material, but still, it's so much easier than dealing with what we're dealing with our primary, our first system. Two more. Where, oh, where are you? There you are. I need to figure out how to adjust my mouse. I think the sensitivity is a little too low when I'm in this view. 15. Is there anything worthwhile in here? Well, what kind of bodies are they? Let's see. You gotta read the description, I think. Can't remember where it says. Ice World. Is it here? I mean, it's got some decent stuff, but I don't know. Ice World. We want Icy Rocky, don't we? Where's that at? I forget. Feature. No atmosphere. It just says Ice World, Ice World. Ice World. Ice World. Ice World. Ice World. Ice World. What's this? Primary port. Oh. When did they start doing that? I thought it was random, but I guess not. That would be the primary port if you claimed it. Interesting. Doesn't look like a system we want, but... go away. Kind of want an... I mean, I like the pattern with the Icy Rocky, because you can really get that thing started up fast. It's not a bad system. I could go scan the rings and see if they're worthwhile or not, but... Low sec. It's our system. Still low sec. We're the military depot's not up and running yet. I think it's gonna go medium sec once we get that down. Welcome home. What was that? That was my friend. Kinds of noises happening outside. Almost sounds like somebody moving stuff into a moving truck. I think I'm gonna land and then I think it might be food time. How long have we been rolling? 2 hours? Yeah. Probably a good time to stop. We'll go grab something to eat and maybe I'll start back up later on or something. Definitely want to get back around to the missions and keep my faction going, but I wonder how close we are to carrier being full. The depot is way far away from the main station where material is, so I just we load up the carrier and then I jump the carrier over there and then we offload it. It just kind of works out. It's way faster than having to do it direct. Oop, we're on the other side. And that way, you know, you can leverage the Panther and its heavy lift. I think that's my buddy again. The green. I overshot, so I think he didn't overshoot. That's a little weird, isn't it? Turned into a gray eye kind of some sorts. Oh, there he's back now. Someday I'll take to starting doing my own landing and takeoffs, but I'm too lazy, I think. Alright, well, I think this is a good stopping point as any. I hope you had a little fun or enjoyed some of my commentary. I had fun yapping about it, so. Alright, we'll check with you next time. Have a great day, evening, or morning, depending where you are. Take care. Bye.